Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, pain folks. This is the man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bobby Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. I want to say thank you to people who sent me birthday wishes, the gifts I got a couple of days ago. As you know, I still celebrate my 51st birthday. You know,
Happy birthday.
I
Belated
pre-
birthday wishes.
thank you, madam, thank you. I appreciate it for my family and friends and you supporting me in my content. I really appreciate that. I want to give y'all, I know it's a lot of y'all to name, but I can't name y'all, but y'all know who you are, and I appreciate whatever y'all do or have said for me in during this time as I'm becoming an old man. I'm an old man now. I'm already half a century old. I'm getting over that hill. It's getting harder some days, especially got two bad knees. So, folks, I had a lovely lady, and she is a competitor from the UK. As you know, one of my monikers I often go by is you might call me. I am the international player from the Himalayas. Call me Jerome in the house, Jerome Rome, and we have here the lovely Mrs. Elizabeth Lizzie Genese, and she is
Yep.
an amateur competitor from the UK. She's been competing for quite some time now. We're going to talk to, most people call you Lizzie, if I don't mind.
Yeah, please call me Lizzie.
Lizzie,
Lizzie.
Lizzie. We'll talk to her, share her story, and her plans for the next year. Can you believe it? It's just I think about 4 more weeks till a new year. Wow, God,
4 more
it's
weeks till
so.
Christmas. It's about 5 weeks.
Christmas for the
About five
children.
weeks.
Christmas for the children. I got no kids, and one person I did got something for Christmas. She's long gone. I love her. That's my mom. So, Lizzie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's about time. I do
Yeah,
apologise.
no apologies. See, like I said, your guys sometimes try to get a girl, and she finally get her. Say, yeah, I finally got her. Took me some time to get her, but I got her. But that's the exciting part about when you get these ladies who want to come on and share a story. So, ma'am, what's the question I want to ask you? What got you started in sport? As I call it, muscle and masculinity. Please share.
Yeah. So basically I had 3 children, lost all the weight from having 3 children through doing cardio. And I got down to the goal weight, the goal size that every female wants to be. And I looked awful. Everything was wobbly and I didn't feel myself. And I thought, okay, right, I'm going to go back to similar-ish training to what I used to do years ago. I used to do kickboxing. So I picked up the weights, did a little bit of this, and I thought, I really enjoy this, really enjoy it. So I just had some dumbbells in my bedroom, and I was, playing with those. And then I had more dumbbells, and then I had a bench, and then I had some more weights, and then I had a bar, and then that got moved to the garage. And then after a while, I sort of said, you know what, I'm really enjoying the shape. I love the shape. I was getting some shape on my body. I was feeling confident. Things started to pop. And I was like, I'm going to go to the gym. So I went to the gym and I was in the gym. Um, and someone come up to me and said, "Oh, are you a power lifter?" And I went, "No." And they were like, "Oh, you're lifting some heavy weights." And I went, "Oh, thank you very much." And then more people would come along and say, "Oh, do you compete?" And I said, "Compete in what?" And they said, "Do you do this? Do you do say? Do you do competitions?" And I was like, "No." And I think I'd always kind of seen bikini girls at the gym. And other than that, I didn't know there was any difference between bikini girls and women's bodybuilding. I didn't know there was categories in between. So, I was on social media, I started looking and I thought, oh, do you know what? I really like this. That's what I wanted to aspire towards. So that's basically how I started really, was just love of lifting weights. That's what got me going.
Yeah, I think every woman has that same story where the guy's a bodybuilder, like yourself, having children and then your body. Because I can tell you, I never had kids, but I'm just, I can tell you, yeah, trying to find something to help you in that process after weight loss. And then just happen upon bodybuilding. It's been a while for a long time. Now people don't know a lot about it. If you think about bodybuilding, you think about two people, and that's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk and the Terminator. But you
Mm.
know what? Many times we talk to ladies when they got into it, it's something that really gave them new life, gave them new energy because it's a lot of work to do this sport. It's a lot of training, a lot of consistency, patience. I mean, it's not as easy as you look if you look at it.
No, it's not. And I think the goal was never to compete for me. The goal was just I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to look how I used to look, but then I just kept, I'd see pictures of female bodybuilders and my mind would be blown. And I want those shoulders. I want the cap delts. I want the quads, and I think I can do this. I could do this. And the more I lifted, the more I enjoyed it. And the more I saw changes, the more I knew, do you know what, this sport is for me. I'd found my true love, if that makes sense.
Well, I think everybody finds something about the sport that really gives them a passion. If it's just that the training, and working out,
Mm,
seeing your body develop as it grows, coming from where you were before to where you are now.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So the goal did shift. Like I said, I wanted to kind of look how I used to look in my sort of late teens, early 20s, because I did, a lot of people don't know, I did a lot of kickboxing. So I had a good muscle development, but I was, fighting basically. So it was more like a boxing kind of figure. So I wanted to get that back. But then when I got that back, I wanted more. I wanted a bit more size, more definition. So the shape was slightly different. So the goalpost did move a few times. When I'd reached that, I then wanted to go a little bit further. So I haven't stopped
Mhm.
yet.
Interesting. I know a lady I interviewed a while back. Her name is Nikki Wicks. She's also from UK. She also did some little kickboxing back in the day. I do content on women in mixed martial arts and MMA. Because it's a very tough sport. What got you into that? I mean, you got to think about it. You're gonna have to somebody have to kick you in the head or in the face.
Yeah, I got kicked in the head a few times. I think I think it was just I was a teenager and always been a little bit chubby my whole life. And I was like, oh, like every teenager, I want to get skinny. I was like, oh, brilliant. I'll go and see what the leisure centre has to offer. And they had like classes on. They had like, your legs, bums and tums, your aerobics, that type of thing. And it was just boring, so boring. And one of the classes was kickboxing. So, like normal, these things happen to me. I go along, really enjoy it. Again, I did really well, and then I did that for quite a few years actually, and I progressed quite well in that sport. But again, I kind of once I finished college and I was working full time, saving for a mortgage for a house, started having children. It just went out the window, really, and it's a shame. Yeah, I
I
can't
understand.
kickbox now because I'm too slow.
I
Too slow, and I'm
understand.
certainly not flexible.
I understand. Life
Certainly not
happens,
flexible.
especially you have kids, you get married, you want to have a house, something of your own. I
Yeah.
never had that luxury of having children. I had one woman in my life, that was my mom. She was the woman in my life till she passed away. This is the person I really dedicated a lot of my work to, especially doing this content. We have your shout out to my man KL, the Wanderer, coming in, who says, "What's up? What's up with you, brother? Thank you for coming by." So now, what was that experience like for you that first time? Honestly, you gotta think about it. You're walking, prancing across the stage, half naked, and you got people looking at you and judging you. And like I said, you are a pretty lady. I have to admit my crime here, Lizzie. I am a muscle person. I just love y'all buff ladies. Y'all excite me.
Um, can I tell you something funny? My first show,
Go ahead. What is it? What
no
is it?
lie. Well, my first ever show, I'd had the tan, I had the bikini on, I was backstage, and I thought to myself, I need to leave. What am I doing? This is a stupid idea. This is crazy. If I left now, no one will notice me leaving. And I thought, right, I'm definitely gonna go. I'm definitely gonna go. And I thought, I know, I'll just go and get my bag and then I'll leave. And as I went to get my bag, I thought, maybe I should just do it the once, and then I can leave after straight away afterwards. I haven't got to go back on stage. I'll just do it once and I'll go. So for me, it was kind of that surreal moment of forcing myself to do it, and then thinking in my head, all I had to do was just walk on stage, do the poses, walk off, and then I could leave and no one would notice. So it wasn't, it was nerve-wracking. The first time was nerve-wracking because I just honestly I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was competitive. I didn't think that I had anything the judges were looking for. Um, yeah, it was just wild. So um, I won my first show. And again, I didn't really believe it, to be honest with you. I just kept looking at the trophy, thinking, no, they got something wrong here. They called out the wrong number. And you could see the look on my face. And I look back at the videos, this not quite understanding how the process worked when they called people out. When they sort of go, and you're fourth competitor, blah, 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 blah. And then they call you down, don't they? And you go like, bronze, silver, and you're winner. And I'm just stood there like, oh, this is nice. Not even thinking I'd won. So I looked a bit of an idiot, to be honest with you, because I just
Well,
didn't notice, but it was amazing.
well, everybody's experience is gonna be different. I've heard ladies that say they were really nervous. Some got sick. Some say it was just, especially ladies who have a very athletic background. Who say that was just
Mm.
another form of performance for them. No different from being a track or being a beauty contest. It was just something they're used to. But everybody has their experience at their time. We have your comment. Shout out to my man KL. He says this. He says this. Shout out to my man KL. He says, Elizabeth, what's your experience as a bodybuilder walking in the streets of the UK? Since I heard there's not a lot.
No, there isn't a lot. Um, to be honest, in the winter, when you've just got jumpers and a coat on, you just look a little bit bigger than normal, but it's not obvious. I'm not at that size because that's women's body. I do women's physique, so I'm smaller, obviously. So you don't look as jacked or as hench or, when you're lean, you can't go anywhere. When you've got striations, you're vascular. If you go walking around town, um, just go to parents' evenings, shopping, anywhere like that, you're always going to get stopped. Always going to get stopped. People are going to ask questions, and it's nice. It's nice comments actually. It's really nice comments.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
That's pretty good because I know some ladies have different experience. Sometimes I think with men and women, especially older
Mm.
people, they're more very, kind of like off-putting about it sometimes because something is different for them. Children, I think, are a little bit more open-minded because they look at this like, wow, you look like a superhero. And they say that the UK is growing in with female bodybuilders. Like there's a lady I interviewed right back, Anita. She is an IFB
Yeah.
pro. Also, a lady you know very well, and that's Rama Scottson. Is Rama announced her and her fiance Dan are going to get married. They're gonna get married. So
Ah, yeah. And I'm wondering actually, I have to ask because obviously, because she's my coach, you know, do we get to go to the wedding?
well, you
Because
should.
it'll be the wedding of the century, won't it? It'll be like the
Yeah,
royal people get married. It'll be like the bodybuilding community version of a royal wedding.
yeah. I
Be
mean, it'll be
great.
great. Romana is an amazing lady. I got a pleasure to interview both her and me there a while back, and you said that that's your coach. When did y'all two meet? And and how long y'all been? She been working with her.
So I've been with Romana now for oh my gosh, nearly 2 years, not quite 2 years, about a year and a half. Well, I'm just gonna say 2 years. That's easy because what happened was I was with Anita for a long time actually. She was a good coach. And then we just kind of come to the end of our, coaching. I've been with her from the beginning. We were like, hey, I need to try something different, and things weren't quite working. So I had a male coach for a very short amount of time, and it just wasn't. It's not the same for me. I work better with females. So I contacted Romana because I needed some posing tuition because my posing was one of my massive weak points. So I had some posing lessons with her. And it was so nice to have that female to talk to about, because she's women's bodybuilding, to have that, the kind of the understanding, if that makes sense. So I had a couple of posing lessons with her. And then she was always on the phone. If I ever needed to ask a question with something that wasn't even to do with posing, she was very open and honest with me. And she helped me out a few times with a couple of struggles I was having with the diet. And then next thing you know, I was just like, look, could you be my coach, please? And she was like, oh, I'd love for you you to be my client. And we were like, woo, okay then. So yeah, so then she was my coach, and I've met with her quite a few times, like face to face, and had a check in, which has been really good. So yeah, she's brilliant. She knows me well. She knows me well.
I think it's good to have a good relationship with your coach. I think one thing I think
Mm.
with coaches between men and women understand their bodies more better than a man does, and it takes a special man to understand a woman's hormones, how she grows, how she develops. With guys, it's pretty easy. Just put on some size muscle, training, condition, all that stuff like that. But it's so much more because as a woman, your body is different compared to us. We have natural testosterone, and that's something that helps us in our process. And you are more, like I said, more leaner, more. It takes a lot more from when we put on muscle compared to the men.
Definitely, definitely. And I think just like from a hormone point of view as well, you can go through periods of time where, you know, the scales aren't quite matching what you're doing, or, your skin's gone a bit crazy or something. So it's good to have you know, because I spoke to my coach recently. I said, "Well, what's going on? Because I never have a spot in my life and got sort of acne here and here." And she checked on my check-in sheets from exactly, like a year or so ago. And well, it wasn't a year ago. It was last April. Exactly the same thing. But of course, I'd forgotten all of that. But she has all of that, because we've been working together now for a good amount of time. She has all that information, and she understands, being a woman, why that bothered me. If you know what I mean, where some guys it wouldn't, they'd be like, "Oh, you're fine, don't worry about it." I'm like, actually, no, it really bothers me. So she's good like that.
That's
She is
good.
good like that.
That's good. Also, you
But
got to deal
yeah,
with bodybuilding. Also deal with body dysmorphia. Also, other stuff that goes around with it. Here's the thing about the sport: that everybody looks at it. Everybody looks at it, think of it. You take some steroids, you can get big, like rah, rah, rah. But that's the lie that's
we
been
wish.
told. Yeah. If you don't follow a diet, if you just don't stay consistent, if you don't be persistent, don't be disciplined, you're not going to be at that level. If you look at someone like your fellow countryman, Samson Duda, or also guys
Mm.
like one of my favorite, because I have to always say this, she's my girlfriend, and I'm a fan of her. That
Oh
is the lovely, amazing. I'm just adapted to her, Miss Andrea Shaw.
no, she's mine.
No, she's my. You got a husband. Shut up. She's my girl. That's my girl.
She's my
You know,
girl crush.
she's my girl.
I no, no, no. Do you know what I absolutely love her. I just love watching her. It's her stage presence. It's that quiet, graceful confidence. She presents herself so well. She's got lovely shape. It's just everything. It's that natural flow. Yes, she's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, people tell
I
me
love
she's
the
a
woman.
wonderful. I believe you a couple of ladies that know her. She's a wonderful person. This is a friend of mine. Was it about a couple years ago? My birthday. My friend's Eunice. She runs a company called Bad Rabbits. They're the Broncos, big and defined, ripped and pumped. And she was at the 2023 Olympia. That was the year it was in Orlando, and she got me this issue for me for my birthday. She sent it to me. She mailed it like about a few
Oh,
days later. But what makes this issue special? It's just not just because, and I know Kay is gonna hate this. Thank you, hate no more. That Andrea took the time. She signed it for me.
did she? Oh, that is lush.
I mean,
Oh, bless you.
I love her. That's why she's my girl. No one can have her. She's mine. My
All right, you
woo.
can have her. You can have her.
Yeah, I can have her. So it's like other than Romana, and who else did you really look? I won't say look up to. We respect, admire their work and their commitment, especially in bodybuilding.
So obviously, like I said, you know, me saying like the goalposts kind of changed. So when I first started, it was I say Dana Lynn Bailey, but is it Dana Lynn? How do you say it? Dana?
Dana Lynn, Dana Lynn.
Yeah. So I saw her and I was like, I want arms like that. I want shoulders like that. Um, and then again, you start watching videos, don't you? Start checking other people out. But it was always Andrea Shaw from the beginning. Andrea Shaw. But of course, I'm not a female bodybuilder. I'm a women's physique. So naturally, I look under the Talia and how she's looking this year. You know, she made them quads look pretty big. It's quite impressive.
Yeah. Well,
So
right now there's a little issue between the former champ Sarah Vilgas. Ooh,
I
I
heard,
just
I heard, I
ooh,
heard.
I like I said again, both of them are, I would say, amazing bodybuilders, but particularly I'm not a big fan of either one of them per se. Just stuff I hear
Mm,
about them here and there. But yeah, that is everybody has their level, especially coming to sport.
yeah,
No one's gonna be Andrea Shaw, but you can be you. So, folks, while we had Lizzie here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into social media for a bit. If you want to
taking.
follow her, her links in the description of this live. She's a nice lady, folks. I reached out to her. She's somebody's mom. She's somebody's wife. Guys, I know you like these ladies. You're fans. But guys, no weird stuff. Don't show your willy. None of that. Stop it. Get some help. I know you.
Show me your cats and your dogs instead.
Yeah, show little animals or something, or your kids. You got pictures of kids. Don't
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Women don't want to see
Send me
that.
pictures of cake. I love cake. Send me pictures of cake.
What's your favorite cake?
All cake. Every cake.
I
If it's got the word
can't.
cake in it, I'm gonna like it.
I'm like, I grew up, my mom used to always make these, like for the holidays, especially Thanksgiving, Christmas. She used to make these yellow cakes. And, you get put icing like chocolate or jelly or
Mm,
something like that. I remember one time, this was like when my mom couldn't do much anymore because she was really sick. And one time it was Christmas about 6 years ago. I said, mom, I'm gonna cook a cake. So she's giving me instructions. The cakes were done. She told me, son, the cakes ain't pretty. She tasted it, but it tastes good. So I was proud. That was the first
that's
and
all that
last time.
matters.
That's the first and last time I ever made cakes. So first we're gonna
That's
jump
all that
into,
matters.
yeah, and here we are on her IG, and right here, this picture right here. This is you got the pink hair. What show were you getting ready for that
I
time?
love that pink hair.
What show you getting ready for?
That was the one in Sheffield. I can't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. My mind's gone blank.
That's all right. Everybody, a lot of your bodybuilders get that brain fog. You don't get enough carbs in your system.
I know, I know. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. But do you know what? This is exciting because obviously, when I do go back on stage, that's been 2 years since then, and I've packed some size on, so it's very exciting.
Well, you look really good here. This is look like maybe most recent picture of you. I mean, you really put on some size there. That's the thing is, first for the physique division, it's about a certain look. You have to have good size,
Mm,
good conditioning. You want that nice taper in the waist. Everybody wants to be
yeah,
Natalia, but not everybody's gonna be Natalia. Yeah. So, like your family, how many kids you have?
I've got 3 children.
How old are your babies?
Oh, well, one of the two of them are teenagers, and my youngest one is only 12. So two
She's about
boys,
a
one
teen.
girl.
She's about a teen. Remember, those teenagers got beat them down. Got beat them down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how long you and your husband been together?
25 years.
Wow. And what's his name?
What's his name? Husband.
Yes, yes. You have a husband, don't you?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and y'all been together for 20 years. He saw you as you were before, and now he's seeing
Hmm.
you now. What's that like for him? Because I
Yeah.
know with sometimes it's difficult to be in a relationship, because I know Lisa told me stories of how, their lives changed. We started getting bodybuilding serious, the relationships changed. I know a couple of ladies told me divorce. Does he support your bodybuilding?
Um, in the beginning, it was difficult, obviously, um, just because the amount of time that it takes up, But I think it's one of those things, isn't it? When you kind of like absolutely love something and you say, "Do you know what? I absolutely love this. Please." So yeah, he is supportive, definitely.
That's good
I
because I
think the
know
kind
it's
of like,
tough.
it is tough, yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? You're seeing somebody going through something that can be very, bodybuilding can be physically, mentally, emotionally, also financially draining. It can take a toll on any person's body, their mind, the training, the consistency, sometimes it can be very boring. It's also, friendships, relationships can change. Like, like your family, like your immediate family, or what they think about you as a bodybuilder.
Well, in the beginning, the same as everything. In the beginning, it was constant negativity. Um, from family that didn't quite understand what I was doing. Why are you eating that? Why can't you come out? Then when I was on competition prep, you look ill. You've lost too much weight. Um, and then when I'm bulking, oh, you're getting fat again. You're kind of so it's trying. And I think now, after so many years, they kind of got an understanding as to why and the process. So I'll just say, I can come out for the family meal, but I'm probably not going to be eating, or you know, I'm on a bulk at the moment. I'll come and I can eat with you guys, and I'll bring some cake, and so it can be really tricky. It can be really tricky. I think again, I'm just going to put it out there. I think it's harder sometimes. Not when you're a man and you say, "Oh, you go to a gym and you're a bodybuilder." It's like, "Way, that's brilliant." How much can you bench? How much? When you're a woman, it's kind of you get this little look of, "Okay," and then you have to kind of explain it a bit more because it's just not not the norm. You just don't see it that much, do you? Really?
hmm Well, I think because it's something that's you say out of the norm. If you look at it from society's view,
Mm.
women putting on muscle, people like you, Romana, Anita, who are competitors, who have a passion, and it's just like the idea of a typical woman is supposed to be soft and motherly and and feminine, but but even now, like I'm looking at these pictures, and I'm telling you, Lizzie, wow, I mean, yeah, this one here, I mean, she's all puffed up, she got her hair done. Oh me, I mean, I mean, I think every woman's beautiful in their own right. It's not going to be the
Yeah, definitely.
stereotypical beauty, but I think, like I said, you're a lovely lady.
Thank you.
hmm
But,
So, yeah,
the
yeah.
fun, the
Listen,
funniest one actually was is at work because I work with children. Um, they find it hilarious that you know, Mrs. Genese goes to the gym and Mrs. Genese lifts weights up, and when when I was in the lunch hall and it was summer, so we are allowed to sort of wear like a shorter top at work. So I had like a shorter cut off sort of vest top, and all the kids were just like staring at me. And they're like, "Wow, Mrs. Genese is big." She got and that's funny. And then I've got a funny story about work. So we were having it was a summer fete on, and they were selling ice creams outside, and the freezer was in the staff room. And they were like, "Oh, we need to get the freezer outside to put the ice creams in." And they were like, "Oh, how are we going to get the freezer outside?" And I said, "So I can carry the freezer." So I pick this freezer up and I carry it through the school and I carry it past year six, which is the older kids. And they're like, "Is that Mrs. Janice with the freezer?" But I mean, it's brilliant for work. I can, if there's any cabinets or bookshelves that need moving in school, tables, chairs, I just pitch in and it's me that does it.
I think it'd be like funny, especially if you have the school principal saying, Janice, Do you think you can help us with this? Even though I'm a little tired, love. Do you think you can pick that up for me? Because and little kids look at, damn, Miss Genese is strong. Because I think with children, I learned this. Children are very open. They have no
I agree.
prejudices yet, because until we as adults put it into them. What got you into working with schools and with special needs children?
Um, it, so my son was at the school, and the head teacher approached me and said, "Oh, not your son's very well behaved, but I can see you. Could you come into the school and help us out? We have a difficult situation with a child at the moment. We need a little bit of help." I said, "Oh, "You just need me to kind of volunteer." She was like, "Yeah, if you could just come in and spend a bit of time with this child." I was like, "Okay, okay." So I had all my sort of security checks done. If you're going to be working with children, your DBS and everything else. And I came in and I worked really well with this child. And then the next thing they were there, "Oh, could you come back again?" And they were like, "Oh, could you come back in September?" And then they just gave me a permanent contract. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I absolutely love my job.
That's good. That's good. You have a job that you love, especially
Mm.
for teachers. Y'all put in a lot of work, especially dealing with kids here. And here in the states, kids are bad here. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff going on in our country. you but as long as you're doing good work helping these children out, and also they respect and they must definitely love you, being that you're the strong teacher.
Yeah, and I think is what I really enjoy it for especially for like the girls in the school. For the girls in the school, it's kind of like, yeah, you can, if you want to go and do that, it's okay, you can do that. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you can go. If you want to be a footballer, you can go and do that. So I think it's good for all of the kids, but especially for like girls to get them into sport. 'Cause, I say to them all the time, I used to hate PE at school. I used to hate PE. I used to hate any physical activity. And they just look at me like this. And I'm like, come on, let's go do this together. Let's run around the field, let's do this, let's do that. So no, I think it's positive, to be honest with you. Have someone that has a passion about something that could be a good influence on them.
When I was in school, I used to love playing running. I played football, American football here when I was in high school, and I used to lift weights. I used to love that. But then I got into the real world, and the real world is you don't have a lot of time. One point I was holding down two jobs. I was working, as you might call it, a petrol station. We call it a gas station here in the U.S. I worked at a textile plant. Also, I worked in a gentleman's club. I had quite a
So
few
where?
jobs.
Where did you work?
For some people, it's called a gentleman's club. Other words, it's called a
Okay.
strip club. Down here in the hood of the country, it's called a booty club. So I worked there
Do
for
you,
a
do
few
you have
years.
any do you
Yeah,
have any bodybuilder strippers?
I saw there's a couple girls who really fit, but never no bodybuilding strippers. That'd be something.
See, we've noticed something there, haven't we?
I mean, yeah, because that'd be something that'd be interesting. Because one time I was talking to these guys, because we have a community called Muscle Perry Small. We just love y'all buff ladies. We talking about maybe like this guy said like, how about open a street? Well, if you do it, you have to do it like a tour, because you know what, it's gonna be only so popular. So you have to do it like in the season and around the bigger shows, like something like the on a classic show like the Olympia, something like Chicago Pro. Those big shows would get a lot of attention. Just get some girls and set up a place like that. That's just something we just talk about. Because the thing is, people don't, like I said, you're a beautiful lady. I'm not gonna lie to you, ma'am. I'm a Southern gentleman. I never tell a lady she's not beautiful. But that's the thing is, when people look at women like y'all, they look at the muscle. They don't look at the overall woman, her appearance, her behaviors. They look at these muscles and saying like, these are like these big women. They try to be men. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, you're not trying to be a
Yeah.
man. You are a woman. You have children. You have a husband. You are an athlete, and you're doing a sport that you found and you love doing.
Mm, definitely.
Yeah. So you hadn't competed since 2023. What's going on now? You feel like you want to get back on the stage, or you feel like you still need more time to work out some things?
So the plan was, and the plan still is, that I've never experienced a show other than UK. never done a show other than the UK. So we're like, okay, let's expand a little bit. So I would love to do Romania Muscle Fest. You heard that one?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Lena Popa. And true story, I got to meet her a few years ago when I went to my first Bible show in Savannah.
Cool.
Yeah, I met,
Cool.
this summer I went and my friend Eunice, she had a booth and I was there and I got to meet, I'll pull these pictures up here. I got to meet people like Sharonica Hinton. She was there. I got to meet Ashley Jones. She even gave me a shout out on
Oh,
my
Ashley
channel.
Jones. She looks amazing, doesn't
Yeah, she
she?
looked great. I also got to meet a legend. I used to remember back in the day, Kevin LeVrone and also Isabel Terrell. And one of my biggest side time, I got to meet an actual celebrity. And this man here in the middle, if you don't recognize him, that's one Mr. David Lee Roth from the group Van
Is it?
Halen. Yes, because he was
Wow.
there. Yeah, he's a bodybuilding fan. That's my friend Eunice on the other side. She's also she competed the day before and she won in women's over 50 plus in women's physique. But
Brilliant.
I mean, it's just for me, it's experience. But the Marine Muscle Fest is just had it past the weekend. It's probably one of the biggest shows around, especially, and it's one of the few shows that still give women's bodybuilding opportunity compared to others that have been pushing them out.
Yeah, definitely. And I've heard nothing but good things. The whole setup, stage, lighting, the way the athletes are treated. I've had nothing but good things. So that's what I would want to do. That's what I'm aiming for. So that'll be next year.
Yeah, I know a lady I interviewed a while back. She's a fellow country music of yours. She goes by Ruby Muscles, but I call her. Her name is Lisa Smith. She competed there, and because there were not enough competitors in women's bodybuilding class, division, she couldn't get a pro card. That's the thing is, that's a big problem. Sometimes it shows if there's not enough bodies, then you can't get pro card.
Yeah,
You can petition. You can petition for apply for it, but generally it's like few and far between that happens.
yeah. That does unfortunately that is the case in over here as well, especially um yeah, women's physique, women's bodybuilding. You can rock up to a show and there'd be like two athletes. It's heartbreaking, and you think, oh, why do I bother? But then if you're not willing to hold the torch and say, hi, I'm here, we exist, then that's not going to help us, is it really? So it can be frustrating at times, but
Mm.
that's just how it is. But if you go and do the international shows, or if you go, Romania or you go Italy, Spain, there's a lot more competitors. So you're gonna be on stage with quite a few girls, which is very exciting.
hmm And there's a couple of shows here in the U.S. that's also worldwide shows, like the Amateur Olympia, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Amateurs, and also the show where it's a pro qualifier for women's bodybuilding. But I've known physique competitors. I know a lady who I interviewed a while back. Her name is Margie. She also competed this weekend at a show in Vegas called the Your Masters USA's, where she competed in women's bodybuilding. And all you got to do is just know the mandatory poses, and if you win in your class, you get your pro card. It's a show that was set up by a guy who I'm a fan of. To me, he's the guy who saved bodybuilding. I'm always going to shout him out. He runs the Olympia. That's one Mr. Jake Wood, and I'm always going. Anytime I say his name, yo Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. It was also at the weekend at the Remaining Muscle Fest. I can't help it. I'm crazy
You
that
go for it.
way.
You
Yeah.
go for it. You're excited. You go for it.
That's why I enjoy when I get to talk to you ladies and hear your stories and share it because it's exciting because from my standpoint, it takes a lot to do what y'all do. The discipline, the
Mm,
patience, the consistency. Most everyday people wouldn't do this sport. And then again, people who out there who have not very good words for y'all ladies or men in the sport.
yeah,
Then you have the who don't know that if you're not willing to put in the time to this, you're not going to get what you want out of it.
yeah, 100%. And people will, they will say, "Oh, it's okay," because you've got loads of time, and you're like, "Actually, do you know, what? I've got three children. I work full time." They'll see me on the stage, and it's like that's mornings of getting up before 5 to get the cardio in, to make sure the packed lunches are done, to make sure I've got myself ready, dressed for work. I've packed all the food that I need for work, to go to work, to come home, to cook the dinner, to make sure the homework's done, to make sure the washing's done, and all the everything else, and then go to the gym, do my session, come home, make sure everything's fine at home, eat, wash, sleep, and repeat. And when you do that, pretty much day in, day out, it does take a lot of time up. And they can just throw an offhand comment out there, and you're like, I'll just go and do one, mate, because it's taken me, you know, months and months and months to get to this point. You know, it wasn't just a flash in the pan. I woke up and went, "Oh, do you know what? I'm going to do show next week." Hours and hours, and not doing things. Not sometimes. You can't. You just have to say, "Do you know what? I'm not going to come out. I'm not going to go out for a meal. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to come on a coffee date with you guys. I'm just going to leave it because you're tired, or because working out is your priority. And you have to get everything in. Once you've looked after your children, you've done everything you need to do at home. Gym is going to be, you need to get your gym work done. You need to get your cardio done. You need to get your food prep done. So sometimes you do end up missing out on some things. Yeah.
Well, here's like this. Those two boys are old enough to wash their clothes. I had to wash my clothes. My mom, she did that part, but she also taught us we need to wash our own clothes, wash our own food, cook for ourselves. We had to, because you know what? My mother, she's been gone for 5 years, and she taught me not. I said like this: a woman can never taught a boy to be a man, but she can't teach him how to be an adult. To do things that as adults we need to do. It takes, like I said, my father was in and out of my life as a young man growing up. I had my older brother, my uncles, my grandfather. They taught me things that men didn't know. But as a mother, you can teach them that they can take off. They're like, hey, they can go wash the clothes. They can do the dishes. They're old enough to cook for themselves. I understand your mom. You want to be a good mom, but you know what? What if they have to go out there in the world and can't always run home and have mom fix you your dinner and have her wash your undies? They're grown. They're about grown ass man. They're still
All
wet
right.
behind the
Well,
ears. And
they,
what we would say.
they are they are getting better. They are getting better. So if I do say, look, can you do this or do that, then they are getting better. But I am a mum first and foremost. So I do cook. I do wash their hands. Yeah,
Well, you can't help it. You're a woman. You can't help that about yourself. We have here, shout out to a man here, Tony coming through. Appreciate you, Tony says, hi, Elizabeth. You look amazing. Do you have a
thank
show
you.
coming up? Well, she said earlier she's planning on possibly next year.
Next year,
Yeah,
next
doing
year, yeah,
the Romanian Russell Fest
hmm
pro qualifier, because you are regionally qualified, which means you could do a pro qualifier, you know. And as a competitor, what do you feel like you, you see in the sport that can change, that really can, help you out in your bodybuilding?
Um, what do you mean? Like,
Anything from training to travel, because like I said again, for y'all women, even though the guys have their expenses, y'all ladies have your expenses. Like you got to
oh
think about
yeah,
it. Your suits, if you're in, like you were in the PCA, you were doing figure, where you had to wear the high heels, and your coaches, and your hair, and your makeup, and those are expenses. Like, are you sponsored, or everything's on your shoulders?
no, everything's on my shoulders. So, um, everything that I need for my sport comes out of my my wages, my free money, because that's my choice this is my hobby, it's my choice. So what I tend to do is I kind of tend to pay my coach's fees, pay the bills, do this, and then I will save every month and kind of go, okay, well, that'll be enough to cover this expense, that, and I kind of go, right, okay, so by the time paid for the tan, paid for the photos, paid for the fees, paid for the membership, paid for the travel costs, do I need a hotel? I kind of go, okay, I've had this amount of time. to save up so I have money to cover that expense. Just little things like birthdays and Christmas of my family, I always ask for money, and it'll be towards, fees or hair or makeup or something. But yeah, it's expensive. The suit is one that gets me because the suits are expensive. They're like my next suit probably about £550. It's a lot of money, and I will need a new suit. Because you grow out of them, you see. They kind of fit for so long, and then you grow out of them. But you know, I understand that it's a lot of work that goes into making that suit. It's a lot of hours that go into putting the crystals on the suit. So it's just one of those expenses you can't really get around, to be honest with you. You could buy a secondhand suit, but it's not going to fit the same. So, it's what it is. But you better get good. If you get good at hair and makeup and nails, then that's a big expense, guy.
Yeah, that's the expense for your ladies for show day. I say this. I always say this for the guys. All they got to do is wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's all they got to do. Put on
No,
the
they got
tan.
they got hair, they got
What
makeup.
hair? See, just a couple of days. I shaved. I got for my birthday. After my birthday, I got myself a haircut. That's all I got to do. Just this, or just put some mousse in it. There's nothing really much men we can do. Get a shave. Shit, that's it. Y'all women, you have to get some maybe extensions. If your hair's getting a little short, you got to
Yeah,
get the right stuff like that. Y'all can be in a salon for hours. Men at the most maybe half an hour tops.
fair enough, fair enough. At least I
And,
don't, like you said, I don't have to wear heels anymore. It's good.
yeah, that's the thing. Take
Maybe,
out.
maybe, yeah, maybe everyone should do WPD, women's physique and women's bodybuilders, so no one has to buy heels anymore. It's a great idea.
That's great, but the problem is some women will stay in the division where, if you look at it now, they are outgrowing because they feel more comfortable in that division. I'm looking at women like who in figure should be doing women's bodybuilding, who do women's physique. I'm seeing women in physique right now who should be doing women's bodybuilding. Ramana, I remember when I interviewed you, she announced that she's going to go up to women's bodybuilding because even though she's an
Yeah,
Olympian, she's been Olympic qualified. Now she felt like her body was going to a point where I think for women that's the ceiling. When you look at it, you look at again like look at Natalia. If you look at Sarah, there are different looks. If you look at the current champ, another fellow countryman, or Rhea Gale, she's another level. If you look at it compared to Jessica Ray Badia or some of the other ladies in the figure division. This thing is I think one thing is I talk about this how I think the judging has changed because as
yeah.
there's a new division coming up. A young lady I just interviewed, her name is Amy. Shout out to Amy. She's got a pro card. She got a pro card in, excuse me, fit model. I like Amy. I met her when I was in Tampa. She's a nice lady, but I'm not a fan of the division. But I understand it's for to bring more attention to bodybuilding. But here's the thing is you're bringing in divisions going to end up evolving like that division, how bikini started, how women's bodybuilding started. Each time, if you look at the men's development, you look at someone from Arnold to Sampson to Derek Lungford, who are the top of the game. It's always going to steady change. The guys get their allowance to evolve, but y'all women, you have to stay in that, maintain both your femininity, but also have muscularity.
Yeah, you are you're completely right. I mean, I've noticed that I was looking back at a picture of me and another competitor when we both did it was a PCA. We both did athletic figure, and we were looking at and we were like, that's bikini now, almost, you know? Just like you said, like the girls are getting bigger. They are getting bigger all the time, these women's, I've stood next to some figure girls and their backs are bigger than mine. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So they are, we are getting a bit bigger. And it is hard because I desperately want to get bigger, desperately want to get bigger, but I still want to, just for me personally, I still want to be as feminine as I can possibly. But that's just my personal my idea of femininity is bigger
Hmm.
arms, bigger legs, bigger back, but I still want the tiny waist.
Hmm.
So, but that's just my personal, what makes me feel feminine. Yeah.
You have that right to that right. But the thing also, you gotta remember when you get into the sport and you get into it, after a while you evolve. And if you do want to stay within your comfort zone, eventually you feel like, you know what, maybe I might try this. Or maybe I might dip my foot in this. If it doesn't work out, I can always come back. Shout out to my man Tony. He has a comment. Thanks to you, Tony, for making a comment. He says, I think you're perfect for physique, but seeing you in women's bodybuilding would be the dream. A lot of my guys here,
Thanks, Tony.
they're fans of you because these guys are, as I said again, they're crying is their muscle purse smooth. Lizzie, they like you, buff, lovely ladies. They think you're beautiful. I'm sorry about him. I try to keep him reins, but
That's fine. That's
yeah.
fine.
All right,
Yeah.
I
Let,
appreciate
let,
that.
let me let me let me let me get my pro card first, yeah, before we start going even thinking about that. Because I'm not a young chick anymore, am I? So, you know, I'm
Well,
not a young lady anymore.
well, have any of you ladies who are in their 50s, 60s, one lady I interviewed, she turned pro at 74 and competed one more
Wow.
time and then she retired. It's not about so much about age, it's about a passion. You know, I have little ladies who walked away from the sport, started their families, and then they came back because this is a sport that really drew their passion. It took the time away. Like good example was Andrea. She stepped away for about 10 years from the sport. Then she came back, and now look at you now. She's a six-time champion. You know, multiple time
Yeah.
Rising Phoenix champion. I would say one of the most amazing women's sport of bodybuilding.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But we'll see. Let me do women's physique first.
Well, like I said, take your time. There's no rush.
Take my
So
time. There's loads of time.
yeah, that thing is, ladies used to tell me, George, this is not a race; it's a marathon, because you want to have longevity in sport. You want to see how
Yeah.
far you can go. You know, I know some ladies who struggled in NPC for a long time before they got their pro cards. Some ladies who had, you know, after just being competing maybe a couple of years or more and get their pro cards. Sometimes it's about time and opportunity, especially as a competitor.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that you do, if it's just too much too fast, I think you can kind of lose sight of like I've got a vision in my head of what I want to look like, and that's what I'm going for. And if it's
Mhm.
too fast, too quick, you can't see the changes yourself in your body. Does that make sense? So like when I do my check-ins, I can't see the changes, but my coach is like, do you know what? Your back has got bigger, Lizzie. This has changed. This is more defined. You look a bit more balanced because my legs were always so big. It was a case of needing to bring my upper body up. So until we get shredded and get back down, we can then see, okay, right, this is going in the right direction. But if I was just kind of left to fast, 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 what would probably happen is my legs would just get massive
Yeah,
and my shoulders would get big, but I wouldn't get any back.
yeah, and one thing I think I've often heard competitors tell me that back can make or break how you place these shows. You have good density, good width, and especially if it's a
Mm,
good taper where you seem like it just seems like it makes your figure looks more like an hourglass. Especially if you got the nice quads, everything has to come in line. Like when you're training, what's that training that you love the most, and when you say, "I don't want to do this, I'm tired."
the training part, the part that I love training the most.
Yeah.
Um, it used to be shoulders. Used to be shoulders. No, it's got to be back. It's back now, only because I've made so much progress. And for me, it was just kind of this fresh, my numbers were going up and up and up. And I've never had that before. So for me, it's very exciting. It's back, and the back session is my favorite session of the week, without a doubt. Love training back. Love it.
Mhm, yeah. That's typical back, shoulders. I had some ladies tell me they love leg day. I say, you're a sick freak if you like that. I mean, uh,
I
you're a
don't mind
massive.
leg day. I
Hmm?
don't I don't mind leg day at all. It's just good. Legs is good, but no, I just love back. Just love back day now.
Yeah, everybody finds that little thing about they love about training and working out. Diet is one thing you also have to work on because I know you get two teenage boys. I know I've been a teenage boy. We eat like there's no tomorrow. You got the little
Yeah.
12-year old. She eat like a bird, and then as a mom, you have to cook for them and cook for you and cook for the husband. You know, I know when they look at you, do you look at your dinner and say like, "Mom, we don't want to touch that. You can have that."
To be my poor children have kind of got used to me eating out of tubs. So they'll have I cook lasagna or roast dinner and they'll sit at the table and eat. And there's me sort of sat at the table with my food in a tub. So just kind of got used to it, to be honest with you. But my eldest son, because I'll do my food prep for the week and it'll be in the fridge. And he'll say, "Oh, Mum, do you mind?" And I'm like, "That's okay. You can have one of my chicken and rices or whatever." So yeah, so they kind of will eat they will eat some of the things that I eat, no problem at all. No problem.
That's good. I know I have some parents that said that, and others that say, "Nah, they won't want to touch it because no one wants to eat dry chicken, broccoli, and rice." Kids they kind of like. I know as a kid, I used to like the good stuff like chicken nuggets, and I still eat it today. I'm a grown man. I still eat it because sometimes I'm bored. I mean, it's food again is both a weapon and a tool for a bodybuilder. It's about the right foods, the right
Mm.
diet. Everything is involved in the sport. Like your posing, is you have a posing coach, or does Romana does that too?
Romana does that too. Um, I have worked a little bit with another coach. Just she's just kind of starting out her own little posing sideline, if that makes sense. So she's been pretty nice. She's been around the gym and she's kind of pointed some stuff. So she's practicing on me, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the posing was like I said, now I'm okay. But posing for me was very difficult in the beginning. Very, very difficult in the beginning. I spent a lot of money on lessons and coaches for posing because I really struggled with posing, really struggled. It just wasn't natural to me. And then if you change a federation and you change a category, the posing changes. So it's different again. So yeah. But
So
Romana, she's my go-to, obviously, because she's my coach.
she's your hero, your shiro.
She is my hero. She is
Yes,
my hero.
yeah. Can I be your hero, baby? Can I take away the pain?
So it's a lot of pressure on me. I've got to perform now for my coach.
Well, that's the thing is that's a part of the sport. There is that pressure. There is
Yeah.
this sport. As I said again, this sport can be a lot psychologically and physically on anybody, especially on women. It's just doing this content and hearing your lady stories. Everybody has the different experiences, and sometimes it takes a lot to do this. To get up in the morning, do what you do, take care of your kids, work, be a mom, be a teacher, and then find time to go work out and train. Like, during the
Mm.
pandemic, gyms were closed. I think a lot of competitors, the gym is their church, their therapy, the place they go. It gives them a good feeling. Like a few years ago, I was like, after taking my mom for a long time, I was almost 500 pounds. And
Wow.
then when she passed, it was time for me to take care of myself. I had, I decided to do little stuff and then around the house. Then I go to the gym and worked out. I have some issues now because I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin with arthritis. I do try to eat a little smaller, but like I said, today I ordered a pizza. And I was just, but I try to, eat, a little more healthier if I can. It's just something about when you like, especially as we talk about, you love cake, like, after your last
Exactly.
show, Lizzie, what was that thing that you wanted the most, especially after that prep and that you're tired and you get off the stage, you look around in your eye. I want food. What was that thing that you desired the most? Tell me.
Krispy Kremes,
You have that in the
donuts.
UK? You have that in the UK?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, oh. Yeah, yeah. The nearest
yeah.
you,
Krispy Kremes. They're not many around. There's not many around. So you either have to go to a supermarket Well, they kind of batch them out to the supermarket, and then you can buy it off a little counter stand, but it's the bog standard selection pack, 12 donuts. Or you'll find the little neat, there's the odd store here and there that have the Krispy Kremes, but then they're not, yeah, they're hard to get hold of.
Well, I know we also have them in our grocery stores here in the United States, but America is. They used where I used to. There's a place. It's a town next over. My sister lives there with my nephew. It's called Fayetteville. It's one of our biggest towns, a military town. And there's a Krispy Kreme store. I remember my brother was living there, and one day I was visiting him. We were sitting around, he was gonna go out and give himself a beer, some stuff. He said, "I'm about to go out." I said, "Yeah, okay, cool. You want me to get you something? I'm all right. I might walk past the Krispy Kreme. Okay, give me a couple of donuts and a milk. I'm okay." So yeah, and I tell you the truth, yeah, I mean, I like sweets. I mean, I should have back. Oh yeah, I'm a sweet kid. I used to remember this lady I used to go up with. She called me. My mom called her. She called a sweet lady, called me the meat man because I was little. I was like, I always like meat. But that's the thing about it. Food is part of the process. And again, people go
Yeah,
back to the use of, it's a use of power, like pigs and like that. But again, if you're not consistent, you don't follow a diet, you don't train, you don't
yeah,
work out, it doesn't matter what magic pill you pop in your mouth. If you don't follow the regimen, the diet, the training, you're not going to look like the top level competitor or even just the best version of yourself.
yeah. You're not, and a lot of people they don't understand that, or they do it for like maybe a month or two. They're like, oh yeah, I do know. I've eaten well. I'm eating the chicken and rice, and I'm getting my protein, and blah blah blah. And you're like, okay, well, are you going to the gym consistently? Are you? And then they give up. They look good for a holiday, then they give up. So that's really common. I know a lot of guys that will come to the gym to look good for a holiday. They'll come to the gym for a couple of months, look good for holiday, then you won't see them again for a couple of months, and then they'll come back again. And you're like, well, you're just going around in circles, aren't you, really? But yeah,
Mhm.
it is tough. It is tough.
Mm, yeah, because I know we it happens here in the states, like especially just New Year's around the corner. Everybody do the resolutions, and the gym gets filled up, and then by
Yeah,
March it gets thinned out. I mean, people, but the thing is, you shouldn't have to wait to your New Year's resolution. You can start like whenever you feel like you're ready. And the thing is, you have to be this. I know one thing: I'm not that disciplined. I'm kind of but
yeah,
you have to understand that it takes more than just going to the gym a few hours of a day. You have to follow the guidelines. If you have a coach or a trainer, if you're just somebody who's just starting out, you work at your own pace. You don't have to be like the guy next to you who's doing, maybe 20 kilos on a machine. You can start out, small. Work your process. That's what I was doing. I was doing this bit by bit, slow but surely. Again, my situation because I have some medical issues and they sidelined me for a good while. And then plus I had a car and then my car broke down on me. And where I live out in the country. I live out in the boonies. It's hard to get around. You don't have a car.
wow. That is tough. That is
Yeah,
tough. Yeah,
yeah, it's tough. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really
yeah,
tough.
yeah. So yeah, but again, what do you feel as a woman in sport that really drives you? I mean, especially the all that's involved in it, the work, the diet, consistency, responsibility. What really drives you to be in the sport?
For me, it's personal. I love the process of building muscle and being in prep. I like to see the work that I've put in. I like to see how far I can push myself mentally because it is a mental game. We're doing the cardio and being hungry and sticking to the plan and like what I said, like, going on stage, it's that kind of that mental, not torture, happy torture that I put myself through because I like to see how far I can push myself as a human. That's what does it for me. That's what keeps me going.
That's good. That's thing. Everybody has that thing that drives them, especially in
Mm,
bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is not a typical sport. It's not like soccer or football or
yeah,
basketball. It's a fringe sport, and that's one thing about it because such a fringe sport, it just gets a lot of popular attention.
yeah,
And when you put into work and understand the facts that's involved in it, grow as an athlete. There's no easy plan. Nothing's ever easy if you want it.
No, no. And it is bodybuilding is very it's a solo sport, you know? It's a solo sport. And if you don't, it all comes down to you. If you don't if you don't personally put the work in, you know, you've got a coach that can tell you what to eat and how to train and you know how to pose and that. But if you don't actually do it yourself, you're not going to get the results. So it does come down on you at the end of the day. You know, you can have a football team and one terrible player in the team, but the team might still win the game, you know. But with bodybuilding, it doesn't work like that. So it is quite a solo. It's quite a solo sport in that respect. It all comes down to you.
Hmm. The thing, you still have a team back here, like you have Romana, you got your family that supports you.
Mm.
Yes, you're alone in that stage, but as long as you have people in your corner. Like I said again, I have known people who told me that they lost family and friends because the sport can take a lot of their
Oh yeah,
personal life. Things change because you're doing something again that's not considered the norm in society.
mm. Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. But you could have the best coach in the world, but if you can't get your butt out of bed in the morning to go and do the cardio, you're not going to get anywhere, are you? Really? That's the problem. It comes down to you at the end of the day. You know, like you said, like the nutrition, and I love cake. You know, I have children, I have the birthdays, I make a lot of cakes as well, and I'm not eating it, and it's that kind of that willpower and that drive to go. Okay, right? No, yeah, cake is nice. I just can't have it this time around.
Yeah.
So
It's like having addiction. You're like New Jack City with Chris Rock. Pookie said, "If you calling me man, be calling my name. That cake, it smells good, it smells sweet. It's milk in my mouth, man." But again, if you
yeah,
eat that cake, it messes up your plan because you want to go on that stage. You want to look your best shape. And again, people don't
yeah,
understand that when we see our competitors, we see these bodies and these great amazing condition, buffed, oiled, tan on the stage, but don't understand the hydration, the tired, the hungry, the work, the
yeah,
consistency, the discipline, and not so much about motivation. Motivation can change with the win, but being disciplined, sticking to a plan, not getting sideways. And then that's good that when you're there, then your family's there to support you, like your husband, your kids, say, "Hey, that's our mom, that's my wife." But then you have the guy on the other side say, "Who's that big blonde with the muscles?" Hey, that's my wife, bud. That's my wife, mate.
well, to be honest, not really my children think it's weird still. So they're not going, "Yay, mum."
Shut up. That's your mama. You're supposed to go, "Yay, mom. This is what you
Yeah,
like,
mum.
mom." Yeah, yeah. Because you know what? That's the thing is children, but again, is you are their mother. If
Yeah. I
anything,
mean,
they want.
the youngest one was quite interested because she, you know, like being a girly girl, it was kind of like, "Ooh, what does your bikini look like? You wear sparkly earrings." She was more keen. She was like, "I want to see what you look like." So that was cute. That was
Yeah.
cute.
You got two boys. You're like, somebody saying, "Hey, we was here just hanging out with your son," saying, "Hey, Miss Genese." Yeah, you say, "Hey, don't you look at my mom like that." Look at my mom like that. Say, "Hey, I saw you check that refrigerator." I mean, she's just like so strong. I mean, she's like, I think we're in love. Hey, stop it, dude, calm
Yeah.
down.
Well, my eldest son, well, my two boys did come to the gym with me. My eldest son comes all the time. He's regular at the gym, and he just ignores me half the time I'm there. I said, "Come train with your mum." He's like, "No, it's embarrassing."
You might feel get blowed out on the weight. Say, like, hey, dude, your mom's stronger than you. So, hey, but you're still a boy. You're still growing. You haven't got
You
your.
know, actually, he's stronger than me now.
Well,
On
guess
not
what?
on everything, not on everything, but he's a big boy. He's yeah, but I'm proud. I'm like a proud mum. I'm like, you see that big lad over there? They're like, yeah. I'm like, that's my son. It's my son. He's there like,
Would you
it's
think?
great.
We ever think about getting into? Does he do sports and you ever think about doing bodybuilding himself?
He's not interested. He's not interested at all. None of them are. My middle son, he wanted. They were both boxed anyway. They both were boxers, Kind of fallen out of love with that a little bit, but he goes to the gym. He's not. He just likes to be strong. He's got no interest in bodybuilding whatsoever, which is fine with me. I just love that he, the same as me. He goes. He really enjoys lifting weights. Makes him feel great. He loves being strong, and it's keeping him healthy. And that's enough for me.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's all should matter. That he's found something that helps him in his process, especially at the age where he's growing into, from a child to a teenager to adult. And he found good, healthy habits. He's learning from his mother. Both your boys
yeah,
and your little girl, they're learning some healthy habits because,
yeah,
most children be easy persuade when you smell a nice piece of cake or a pizza, or your friends are going out getting
yeah,
fish and chips. But it's good that he's found something that he likes. You never know. Like I said, children often change their minds. Sometimes they're
yeah.
kind of funny
And
about it.
and little things like we were saying about the food. Is now they kind of understand. So when I say, "Oh, mummy, I'm not on a diet. Mummy's on a comp, or I have a comp coming up, or I'm on prep, or I'm on a bulk, for example." So they kind of understand. They have an understanding. So they're not, "Oh, mummy's on a diet." I'm like, "No, I'm not on a diet." So that's really nice. And they see me eating, the same thing for breakfast. They see me having the oats. They see me having the whey protein. They see me having the chicken and the rice, and they're like, "Oh, what are you cooking now?" "Well, now you're having fish." And so for them, I think it's really good. And like I said, now and then they will have my meals because they just want them. I'm like, "Yes, help yourself. It's fine. Just don't eat all my food in the fridge.
That's the thing about
I
children.
need some for myself."
Once they get something in their tongue, they just like yeah, yeah. But so
I'm like, "Do you want it because you want it, or do you want it because it's mine?"
I think it's either way. Children kind of funny again. So, folks, we're not going to hold her much too longer. She took some time out with me. It's very late for her over in the UK, while it's still in the
It is.
afternoon for
It's my
me.
bedtime nearly.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I don't want to hold it too longer. So one thing I would ask you guys out there who do follow these ladies, who do support, like I said, the links in live stream, you can reach in, if you want into supporting someone like Lizzie, reach out with genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. Say, hey, Lizzie, I seen you. You like that red hair you had, If I do a favor for you, no, you sick freak. No, this is what you do. You post this um, Mrs. Genese, we are interested in your story, being a mother, being an educator, being a wife, your dedication to sport. We are a company who love to help you as a bodybuilder find your way, helping your process, sponsor your next competition. So if you're interested in being part as a brand ambassador of our company and we have a plan set for you, help you in your process, we will happily offer you an opportunity. So would you be interested in that, madam?
100%. Thank you very
Or
much.
I
Or
like
pictures of cake.
picture we see some like little cakes like like on the Xerox and seeing that. But yeah, so you just want cake? That's cool. We got it. You don't have to put too much money.
Just give me the
But
cake.
but that's the thing is I wish I could do something like that. I wish that's why I ask guys who are out there who are fans of these ladies who want to see them evolve and grow in this sport. The opportunities
Mm,
because the season's about to end, folks. A few shows and it's tough, especially over in Europe where there's so few opportunities for pro qualifiers.
yeah,
And you have to go either
100%. There's not
yeah,
enough. It's not enough. And there's not enough of us, and this is why we're going and doing these other shows in different countries. So
yeah. And you have
yeah,
to
it's tough.
sometimes, like a friend told me, sometimes you have to steal from Peter to pay Paul just to make a how to make or break things if it's a competitor. But
Hmm.
we're gonna ask you one last question before you go. What would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding?
Myself, like long term,
Mhm.
just to keep lifting. Just love the sport for as long as I can. That's enough. Obviously, I want a pro card. Doesn't everyone want a pro? No, joking. Everyone wants a pro card, but no, just to do my best and to get better every year. That's I'm asking too much now, aren't I?
No, you should never be afraid to ask more for yourself if you want it. And if you can get what you can get out of it, that's for you, then that's it. I mean,
Yeah,
no, some
yeah,
people you should sometimes you should never set limitations on yourself. You feel like you want more, then go for more. But if you can get what you can get out of it,
Mm.
then just take what you can get.
Yeah. And every show is like, last show it was kind of I drove myself all the way up to Sheffield and I was quite proud of that. So it's a kind of a win. Even though I didn't win the show, I won something. And then doing the show international again, it would just be another tick on that box. So for me, that's the most important thing.
Well, man,
Small wins.
yeah, it's good. Small wins, and that's the thing is just take them out. We can get them. So, folks,
Exactly.
we're not gonna hold her too much time. She has to go to Betty Bye. It's late for these
Okay.
bodybuilders need their rest. I want to give a shout out to my man KL, the one who coming through. Shout out to my man Tony for coming through. Anybody who watched this live, if you're interested, again, if you're interested in supporting Lizzie in her path, reach out with genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. We don't want me guys sending some weird stuff to her. And no, stop that. Don't do that. Have a little bit more decor. This is why I say I like this, guys. You get more with a silk glove than with an iron fist. And I know what you're doing with that iron fist. Be smart. Be helpful. These ladies, it's a tough sport. It's not for everybody, but if you're someone who has the means, the way to help athlete to reach their goals, reach out and genuine interest. Before I let you go, he has to say something. And I want to tell you, Elizabeth, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful. I'm sorry. He completes me. So, you have anybody want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah. Okay. I love you and leave you.
Alrighty. Okay, so we appreciate the lovely Mrs. Genese coming through. Wish her all best of luck. Also, let's hope she gets invited to the wedding. So, you know,
Yeah.
yes. I'll send this cut. And I'll still cut the videos to remind us that your client wants to be invited to your wedding. So,
She's probably feeling the pressure now, isn't she? She's
there
like,
should be no
oh, if I
pressure.
got
What is pressure in that? You got to marry the man. Got that. I know we talk about other stuff here and there. It's just vibe. You're being client. Come on, you just gonna sit there. Make sure you got to bring a gift. So
yeah, true, true,
yeah,
yeah, true.
make sure you bring that gift. That's no problem. So again, folks, we'd like to thank the lovely Miss Elizabeth Lizzie Janice for coming through. Shout out to my guests who were
Thank you for
here.
having
If you
me.
watch it, yeah. If you want to follow her, support her, reach out to her, genuine interest, guys, and just shout her out. Okay. Anyway, folks, it's your man always Joe's page, aka the Emperor of If you about to talk, don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good night, good luck, and God bless.